The first house you should buy is a duplex or a single family home that you're planning on renting out to people. This is probably going to be one of the most important videos you guys are going to see on this channel. This is why I love these reactions. You can see stuff in real time, what people are doing, what actually put the stuff that we talk about on, Wednesdays when we're talking about just straight finance stuff into action and see what happens if you don't save for your future. What happens if you actually buy a house hack? So this guy bought a house hack, and I am super passionate about house hacks because I live in a house hack. This is a house hack and it has done so much for us. And this is very possible for you to be just like this guy with a house hack. Let's check it out.
Here's how you can buy a property and live for free. This property behind me was my second house hack, a duplex that I bought with an FHA loan. I bought it for $315,000. I put 15 grand down. I lived in one unit and rented the other side out. So
it's literally that easy. So let me break it down. I don't know if he's going to do it, but an FHA loan is basically a first-time homebuyer loan. It allows you to put down 3.5%, which is what we did for this house. This house was $100,000. We're in the Midwest. The down payment was about $3,000. Was literally $3,500, and then closing costs and other things bumped it up to about $10,000. So we got into a duplex for about $10,000. We got into a house for about $10,000. A lot of people say don't do FHA loans because you're not getting much equity, but it's different when you're in a house hack. Your mortgage is literally paid for or half paid for, partially paid for by another person. This is a second FHA loan. Generally, you're allowed to get one, but you can also kind of refinance, get another one, or say you're moving, very far from your original FHA loan, you might be able to get another one. So there's just different ways to get an FHA loan, but it's amazing. It's really amazing. It's literally sharing a living space with someone, but it's an apartment. You're literally living in an apartment. And he gets two properties for the price of, $15,000, maybe $30,000 he put down for two properties.
my payment on this property every single month, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is $1,832. So this unit that I'm standing in is the unit that I was renting out to gain income to cover part of my mortgage. This unit itself was renting for $1,375
Wow, that's really good.
every single month, or about 75% of my
75% of his mortgage was paid for every single month. Hopefully 75% of your mortgage is paid for. So then this is where the great part and the great thing about house hacking comes in. You only have to pay what, 600 something dollars, 30, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 500 something dollars, 600 something dollars to live in a whole house. Where are you paying $600 at in America today? For a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom apartment, where are you paying $600? You're paying $600 for a room. He's getting a whole apartment because he stayed down. He house hacked. He was able to save that down payment, whether he saved it when he was with his parents, whether he saved it when he was in college, or however he saved it. He saved that money, stayed down for a few years, and bought a house hack for $300,000. That's a good bit of money. In a lot of markets, you could still find something for that amount. Not in these super expensive markets on the West Coast and the East Coast, but they're still out here.
So what that meant was I was living in the other unit for $500, but
Crazy.
I didn't stop at that. When I lived in the other unit, I wasn't married, I didn't have a girlfriend. I let one of my buddies move in for $600, covering my mortgage payment and living for $0. Not only
Crazy. He took a further step and got a literal roommate for his unit. Now he lives for free. So now he lives for free. He can invest. He can save. He can do whatever he wants with that money that would have been going to a house, and now it's not going to a house. So he might have been putting $2,000 towards a house, towards an apartment. Now he's frees up $2,000 to literally put it anywhere. Oh my gosh, hold on. If he never needed this $2,000, he could invest. Let's say he invested $2,000 a month. No, let's just say $1,500. Let's say $1,500 a month. Say house hacks for 10 years. $1,500 a month times 10. $1,500 for 10 years. He's gonna have that much. That is the power of house hacking. Because he's not paying that towards his mortgage, he can now invest that money entirely. And if he did that for, say, 20 years, almost $1 million. Because he decided to house hack. This is the power of house hacking. This is the power of having a roommate. This is the power of lowering your housing expense. It's a super powerful tactic.
was I living for free. The unit that I was living in when I moved out rented for $1,400. You do the math, it's now cash flowing me about $800 every single month right in my bank account.
It's a cash flowing unit because it's a duplex. Now, a lot of duplex don't cash flow, but when you're getting a house hack, especially if you're getting a duplex or something. You want to make sure that when you move out, it brings in some kind of cash flow. You want to make sure that it at least covers the mortgage. Because if both units don't cover the mortgage and the taxes and insurance, then you're going to come out of pocket when you move out, and you don't want to do that with the rental. So you want to make sure that you're running your numbers before you go get this duplex, and that it's actually a cash flowing rental dwelling once you move out. So this place is going to cash flow like crazy when I move out because it was very cheap and the rents aren't even high. The rents are like $1,000, but the mortgage here is like $700 something dollars. So this place is going to cash flow like crazy when we move out, and we just have to decide what we're going to do with that money. We have to decide when we're going to move out, what we're going to do with this house, where we're going to keep it. We're definitely going to keep it because it's going to give me great returns on my money. House hacking is literally something you guys should look into. I hope you guys understand, how important house hacking is, how important lowering your expenses is, and it all starts with lowering your housing expense because that's the biggest expense. People are paying $1,200, $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 a month for rent or mortgage. Imagine if that was not in your budget. Imagine if that was exited. Imagine if that was null and void and you didn't have to pay that. What would you do with all that money? Imagine. Could you imagine if you didn't have to pay a mortgage every month? Be honest, guys, we haven't paid a mortgage in about 5 years. Like in one of my other videos, I talk about how we're over $100,000 invested into the market.
Or you make the dumb decision and buy that single family house, buy a duplex all the way up to a 4-unit using an FHA loan, live in 1 unit, rent the others out, and then you're going to cash flow when you move.
Yeah, guys, the first house you should buy is a duplex or a single family home that you're planning on renting out to people. Like I said, you only get this FHA loan maybe once in your life because you can't have multiple at a time unless you move far away and get another one. Get this duplex out the way. You're living for $600, $800. As long as you're not living for $2,000 a month, even if it's half, you're living for $1,000 a month. That's still a win. That's still a win because there's not many places where you can go and get an apartment for $1,000 a month. So it's still a win. Go look into a house hack. And I'm going to actually go on Zillow right now. I'm going to look up duplexes. We're going to see what we can find. We're not going to find these in New York City. We're not going to find these in Washington, D.C. We're not going to find these in Boston. We're not going to find these in Miami. These are going to be in Texas, maybe. This looks like something in Connecticut. You can find something like this in New York State, Albany, Buffalo, Cleveland. You might find these in Boston. There's a lot in Boston. They can be $800,000, $700,000. And if you're starting out young, a lot of us aren't able to afford that. Albany, New York. I was looking at somewhere here because my job is here as well. But guys, you have to be creative and look outside your comfort zone if you're going to start building wealth in America today. Because it's hard. It's hard to build wealth in these expensive cities. So let's look at Albany. 269. Look at this duplex. That's a nice duplex. 1789. And let's say you rent this out to someone, maybe even Section 8. Section 8 is a great way to go because it's almost guaranteed money every single month. Matter of fact, this is not going to be $1,700 a month because we're going to put 3% down because it's the FHA loan. So it's not changing. Let's say you pay $2,200 for this nice house hack, right? And your tenant gives you $1,200. You're going to be paying $1,000 to live in this place. And guess what? Maybe you couldn't afford that $2,200 a month. So now with that extra money, you can do whatever you want with it. You can pay off your debts. You can invest in your future. And this is how you build your way to wealth. This is how you do it. This is the best way to do it, especially nowadays where it's hard to build wealth because housing is super expensive. Now, to save $10,000, you're going to have to grind. You're going to have to get 2 jobs. That's what I did. I was literally renting 40 minutes from Boston. Rent was about $1,200 or $1,400. So it wasn't crazy. It was 2-bedroom, but I had 2 jobs. And then I was saving all my income from the second job and saving a good bit of my income from my main job because I knew I was coming out to the Midwest. I knew I wanted to get a house hack. And I was like, let me save my $10,000 as fast as possible and deploy it into a house hack because I knew that housing is one of the biggest expenses you could have. And it was truly something that worked for me. So I hope you guys can take some of the video. And if you take anything from this video, is that you need to get into a house hack. The first house you should buy should be a house hack. The first house you should buy should be a duplex. Don't go buying a single family home first. You might be able to afford that $400,000 or $500,000 single family home with your spouse. Go buy that duplex first. And one of the best ways to do it is if you're a couple, you make good money. One couple buys their own duplex, the other buys their other duplex. And then when you guys get married, you have maybe 4 units. Or if you can get a 4-unit, you can buy one 4-unit, the other one buys another 4-unit. You have 8 units in a matter of 2 or 3 years. So it's crazy what a house hack can do. And I wish that more people would talk about it. I wish that more people would actually do it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.